So there's this idea in the natural hair community that us teaching tight curlies how to define their hair is texturism. And for months, I've been so confused as to why that is. But I think I finally figured it out. So the definition of texturism is a preference for looser curls, especially to the degradation of tight curls. So essentially, if you're a texturist, this is a no-no for you. Also, don't mind the white in my hair. I had a styling mishap. But when we teach tight curlies how to define their hair and make their curls pop, there's no efforts to loosen the curl at all. It's just applying gel to the hair that they already have. I mean, sure, there's the elongation from like holding the gel like this, but how else do you want us to apply the gel properly? It has to coat the entire hair strand to be effective. And then when you let the hair go, it shrinks back to where it wants to go. And we leave it like that. We let it dry like that. So why are we calling it texturism? Then I realized it. We've been saying for ages that cosmetology schools were not checking for us curlies. So if you think loose curlies were having a time, imagine tight curlies. But even with that, loose curlies learned how to do the same thing for their hair sooner than we did. And what I think happened as a result of that is that maybe in efforts to rid ourselves of the desire to make our hair look like theirs and instead accept the hair that we naturally have growing out of our head, we started associating everything we couldn't figure out how to do with our own hair as something that only a looser curly could do, thus calling it texturism to want to be able to do something that a looser curly can do. In my opinion, and let me cook here, that's feeding into texturism because you're reserving these practices and these abilities and these skills as something that's only possible for looser curlies. You are marking these desired qualities as only possible for looser curlies. So basically what you're saying is if you want this to be possible for your hair, you need to have loose curls instead of tight curls. You need to have looser hair. That puts the blame on the person for having tight curly hair instead of loose curly hair. When we put gel in our hair the way that we do, we're not trying to make the curl looser. We're trying to make the curl definition last a little bit longer. The built-in dictionary on my laptop is the New Oxford American Dictionary, and when I look up the word definition, this is the explanation that I get. The degree of distinctness in outline of an object, image, or sound, especially of an image in a photograph or on a screen. So definition is literally just how sharp and clear something is. That means that all hair has the ability to be defined. What changes the perception of that definition is curl pattern and a trained eye. Now, people with hair that looks like mine often say that they wish how the hair looks when soaking wet were how it looked when dry because the curls look so nice. Is water then texturist? No. Why? Because you didn't change the tightness of the curl. You changed its definition. And you didn't change your hair at all. It just did that on its own as a reaction to the water. So that means that your hair was already capable of looking like that. The reason why your definition doesn't stick around is because your out of shower hair care practices don't support extended duration definition. When we put gel in our hair, that is all that we're doing. We're getting the definition that we already innately had to stick around for a little bit longer. But we're so used to being removed from the styles that we want that we assume that anything that gets us even remotely close to what we initially thought was impossible for our hair is texturism. So essentially, we try so hard not to be texturist that we end up kind of just perpetuating it in a different way. But definition that is innate to us cannot simultaneously be against us. Okay, that's all I got for this week. See y'all next week. Bye! Sayuri doesn't make a 2-minute video challenge impossible.